everyone, my name is Linda and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as a follow-up to my previous video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that as a minimalist, I do own. In a previous video, I talked about the things that as a minimalist, I don't own anymore, which was actually a difficult thing to do because when you choose to stop buying something or using something, you just kind of get used to it and you forget that everyday people still have these items in your home. In this video, however, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I have in my home as a minimalist. And I own these things for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes it's because it's a more eco-friendly option that I don't need to replace nearly as frequently, or I own it because it's a space saver. Or it could be that I own it because it simply saves us money. So come along with me as I share 10 things that I own as a minimalist. So let's touch on the first thing that I own as a minimalist, which is a pretty minimal capsule wardrobe closet. For me personally, it originally came from the challenge of feeling like I never had anything to wear. I would go into my closet, look at all these clothes, and yet hated everything. Felt like nothing inspired me. I could never put an outfit together. And yet when I made the decision to minimalize what I had in my closet, choose pieces that were intentional and that all went together, suddenly I seemed to have plenty to wear. Recently, Jason was having the same problem with his own closet. Because while he doesn't have a lot of clothes, he had the struggle of, I don't know what to wear, I have too much clothes. And recently, I took about 30% of the clothes, I shoved them to the back of the closet where he couldn't see them. And it's funny how now getting dressed in the mornings become a little bit easier. While I still have a few seasonal garments over here, as well as things for like painting the basement, and a little bit of outdoor gear. This right here is my predominant wardrobe. To be honest, this oversized sweater, more like loungewear. But as you can see, other than like whites, blacks, grays, a little bit of light pinks and browns, there's not a whole lot of variety in my closet. This is the recent that I've done for Jason of just having a couple long sleeve sweaters for our cold winters, some generic t-shirts and tops and bottoms. And it is crazy how much of an impact having less items in your clothes can be. And it is so crazy how bringing down the amount of clothing that you have in your day-to-day wardrobe allows you to really love the pieces that you have and get the most use out of them. For the next few things that I own as a minimalist, we need to make our way into the bathroom. I always find that coming into the bathroom and having to stock up on wasteful beauty products was something that really bothered me. So I made the choice to make some changes in terms of what it is that we have in our bathroom to make them not only just a little more eco-friendly because they're reusable, but also when we don't need to stock up on single-use items, we tend to have a lot more space for the things that we need. So the first thing that I made the decision to switch in my bathroom was switching to reusable cotton rounds as well as cloth makeup removing wipes. The great thing is that unlike your typical sleeve of cotton rounds that you would typically purchase, this little set here just comes with 10 cotton rounds that fit ever so neatly in this teeny tiny little bag. I've now had these for several years and it's as simple as just using and throwing them in the wash. They take up so much less space and we save tons of money by not having to replace them. The other is makeup removing cloths. These cloths are fantastic in that only water is really required to remove most of my makeup. I used to purchase a lot of face makeup wipes, the ones that you would dispose of after every single use. And not only did I realize that they were extremely expensive, but I would typically find that I'd buy a case of 4 or 6, and they would take up a lot of space under our sink. So now I have 3 of these cloths. I can use them and reuse them, and they take up very little space. In the next area of reusable products, something that I made the switch to many years ago and feel incredibly passionate about, ladies, it is reusable menstrual products. About 6 or 7 years ago, I made the switch to more natural option for feminine products. I had read an article about some of the research that was done on things like tampons, and my personal not great experience with chemically colored pads, and decided to go with a more natural route. When it comes to menstrual pads, it is so much easier to be able to reuse them, and it is nowhere near as messy as someone may think. Having simple reusable pads in the sizes that serve me best for my needs, I am able to save a tremendous amount of money not having to buy boxes of store-bought pads. The decision also to use a menstrual cup was one that I made about probably over 7 years ago now, and I will never look back. I can safely say that since switching over to menstrual pads and a menstrual cup, the total investment I've made so far would be well under $100. $100 compared to, I can't even imagine what a woman spends over that time frame on pads and tampons. The other area when it comes to the bathroom that I've decided to minimalize is my razor. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like to have fresh shaved legs and underarms. However, I made the choice to switch to an epilator. So instead of having to continually be buying razors or razor heads, I've been using an epilator for quite some time. Essentially, what an epilator is it is just a series of rotating tweezers that will, I guess, pluck all the hair out as opposed to cutting it. It is something that might sound awful, but I can assure you, you get used to it pretty quickly. And at this point, the pain is pretty much zero. There was a period of time where I did opt into a razor where I simply changed out the blades, which is what Jason currently uses to shave his own face. However, the method I found did not work for me, so the epilator has been my friend for many years. The next area of things I own as a minimalist bring me down to the kitchen. There are a number of things in our kitchen that we have switched over that allow us to be more minimalist for a number of different reasons. The first one is that even though we are minimalist and we keep what we have in our pantry to a very basic staples, we always have on hand a really big bag of flour. Minimalism goes beyond just having space in your home and less stuff laying around. It's also a big part of what it is that you choose to put into your body. By buying a big bag of flour, we are able to create so many different delicious baked goods in our home while being able to really minimize the amount of processed ingredients that go into things that we eat, like bread. We love being able to make things like pretzels and bagels and loaves of bread for sandwiches that has minimal ingredients, just water, flour, yeast, maybe a little sugar and salt, goes so much further in creating the minimal life that we strive for. While still talking about things in the kitchen, there are a few other things that we have minimalized in order to not just save space, but also money. The first is silicone bake sheets. This silicone bake sheet, while we still do have parchment paper and tinfoil, which we are now just slow to use up, but A single silicone bake sheet allows us to replace almost a lifetime of tinfoil and parchment paper. Not only that, but I much prefer the ease of use of a silicone mat. Currently, outside our house, they are working on minimizing the amount of snow on the street. And for that, I am eternally grateful. They're just a little noisy. It's crazy because today, at the day of filming this, it is minus 45 degrees Celsius. And at that temperature, it doesn't matter what metric or whatever temp system you use. It's just really, really cold. But they're clearing the roads. They're getting stuck, but they're minimalizing. Everyone is minimalizing, and it's beautiful to watch. So the next area that we have chosen to be a little bit more minimalist is with our coffee. Now, don't think too extreme for us, because I love my Nespresso coffee and my milk frother, and I am not ready to give them up, nor may I ever be. However, something that we did choose to minimalize was realizing that the power of the Nespresso was mostly in the machine. So we chose to simply reuse the existing coffee capsules that we had by buying foil toppers that we just refill with our own coffee, stick on top, and reuse over and over again. The great thing that we have found is that typically 2 sleeves of coffee, then repurposed and reusing the sleeves, means that we don't have an excess amount of coffee pods just hanging out in our house, using up space. We also save a tremendous amount of money, and it gives us the ability to try a variety of different coffees on a consistent basis without the cost. Another thing that comes down to space for us in our kitchen that was something that frustrated me to no end was having a pack of giant rolls of paper towel. I made the switch, cloth napkins for our day-to-day messes. Now, don't get me wrong, we still have a couple rolls of paper towel in our house at any given time. We only really need about 1 or 2 rolls for ourselves up here at any given time to get us through the really dirty messes. I am incredibly grateful that we switched to cloth napkins. Not only is it so much better for the environment, but I found that oftentimes I would take one, like Jason and I would take one when we ate dinner and end up not needing it. But because it's already been ripped from the roll and maybe folded in half and crumpled in your hand, you're not reusing it. Whereas if I end up not using my napkin, I just throw it right back in the drawer. And lastly, in the kitchen, something that both Jason and I have adopted a long time ago is having reusable thermoses. Having a really awesome thermos that you love means that not only do we need a lot less dishes in our house in terms of like glassware, because we drink mostly everything out of our thermoses, we don't have the need to purchase water bottles. We do have a distiller which allows us to create really great drinking water at home, but we save not just space of storing flats of water, but also the cost associated with it as well. And don't forget the impact that a whole bunch of water bottles has on the environment. So find yourself a really awesome tumbler that speaks to your heart and use it every day. As a minimalist, I believe that sometimes the best and latest of greatest is not always the most minimalist and cost-effective option. So when it comes to electronic gear, such as cell phones or even laptops, we've always chose to go on the minimalist route. While I do believe that my cell phone at this point is pushing on 5 years, and I am due for an upgrade right away, I believe that a big way that we can be minimalist is by saving money and using the devices that we have until they no longer are able to serve the function that they need to. While there are many reasons why I'm looking to finally upgrade my phone after 5 years, I'm likely still going to wait until the end of summer to upgrade it so that I can not only take advantage of back to school, also use this device for as long as it serves me. Minimalism is such a journey, and it's a different adventure for every single different person. While there are other ways in our home that we are more minimal, and some areas in our home that we certainly are not, I believe that minimalism is designed to serve every single person individually so that they can meet whatever goals minimalism leads to for them. If you enjoyed this video, I definitely encourage you to check out some of my other really great minimalist videos, such as this one or this one. And I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye.